All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in again to another video.
What episode is this?
This is 258, I believe. All right, so we're pretty close to our new president stepping in. What is it, like a week?
I don't know. It feels surreal. What's today?
The 18th or the 12th?
Huh? We have like a week.
Yeah.
How is it the 12th already?
Yeah, this month.
New Year's was yesterday.
Well, this month feels like it's been going by slow and very fast at the same time.
Fucking fast. That's all I've felt.
Yeah. We've had the fires going on for a while now. It's been what, like 3 days of the fires?
It's been day 5 today.
Day 5?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, Palisades broke out on the 7th.
Damn, yeah. And it's still burning. It's still burning a lot. And the Eaton fire too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really sad. A lot of people have lost their homes and a lot of people have lost their jobs. And it's a shit show, dare I say, over here.
Yeah. It does really suck for the people like I know that a lot of people that aren't from here think like, oh, it's just a bunch of wealthy people losing their homes and they're fine, but there's certain areas like Altadena, Pasadena, like those places where it's more working class people that are losing their homes that they've worked for like their whole lives. That sucks really bad. Yeah.
Also, not to mention conveniently last year State Farm Insurance
dropped a bunch of people for fire insurance.
70% of the people in the Palisades, they pretty much were like, we're not covering fire insurance anymore.
It's crazy.
Allegedly, it was because of the Malibu fires back in like 2018. I'm like, why did you do it last year though? There's a lot of conspiracies going on, especially from people who you would never think would tap into that side of themselves.
Yeah.
They're the ones that
insurance
are really questioning a lot of what's going on.
Insurance just feels like a scam.
It 1000% is, but then why that area, the Palisades, it is susceptible to fires.
Yeah.
Whether they're natural or not, that's a breeding ground for fires.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the winds we have been getting have been insane. The Santa Ana winds this year. We get them every year, but this year particularly has been.
There was that one day of like 100-mile-an-hour winds, and that's what really messed it up.
It was like 90, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was right around when the fires started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just put your positive vibes out there for everyone. All right. So today we're going to do a video called The Real Reason Why Trump Wants Canada and Greenland. I don't know if you follow him, which a lot of people do in other countries, but he's been mentioning stuff about how...
Oh, and apparently TikTok's getting banned. I don't know if it's going to happen. But
I don't think it's going to happen.
Apparently they're saying on the 19th it's getting banned unless it gets sold. Most of it to American company.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to get banned.
I was saying that too for the longest up until like yesterday. And I was like, wait, is it actually happening?
Maybe they're just trying to get more people to use it before.
My ADHD thinks it's a great idea. But the other part of me is like, why? Why are we more focused on banning an app and not more pressing issues in this country?
I think because they're saying that they're using it, like Chinese intelligence is using it to spy on us.
Spy away, my guy. I give you my consent.
All right. All right. We're doing a video today about why Trump wants Canada and Greenland, as he's been mentioning, kind of. This video is by a smaller channel, Shervin House. I'll put the original down, like I always do.
Like I always do.
All right. Let's see.
On November 5th, 2024, Donald Trump was elected as the 47th President of the United States. But despite the fact that he still hasn't been sworn back into office, he has alluded several times to a possible annexation of Canada as the 51st state, as well as a desire to purchase Greenland from Denmark and also take back control of the Panama Canal. But the question is, why? What is it about Canada and Greenland that has Trump so interested? Right. Is it oil? Is it minerals? Is it security? Well, if you turn to mainstream media outlets like the MSNBC to answer this question for you, you might hear something like this.
Well, I'm not going to stonewatch Donald Trump by trying to describe what motives he might have, other than to say that he has an expansionist view that is very much in line with his hero Vladimir Putin, who apparently also wants to seize land that doesn't belong to his country.
Yeah. Wow. This is bizarre in today's day and age.
I know. I do think a big part of Trump is that he does have that... he has like the soul of a dictator, or like the soul of like someone who likes to like be in charge with no one to challenge
it feels
him.
medieval.
And like, yeah, I do think he wants to like power. It's just like this power, but I think he just disguises it better than like other leaders in the world that are like, don't give a fuck. That just kind of are like, yeah, I own all of you.
Yeah, but I don't know. I almost feel like it's childlike. It feels very, what
Well,
can
it's
I
a lot
get
of
away
ego.
with?
I think it's a lot of ego.
Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Truly amazing analysis there. But in all seriousness, what if I told you there is actually a method to the madness here? What if I told you there is actually a very compelling reason for Trump's interest, and it has everything to do with controlling the Arctic? Now, before we understand why the Arctic is such a key issue geopolitically, we need to first understand what the Arctic actually is. Now, unlike Antarctica, which is just a huge plot of land, the Arctic is actually made of a bunch of different plots of land across different countries. This right here is what is known as the Arctic zone, and anything above this line would be considered a part of the Arctic. Now, in the past, the Arctic waterways were considered too dangerous and very narrow and almost impossible to navigate. But as we know, there is this little thing that's been happening over the past couple of decades, and that is the melting of the ice caps. And the more ice that melts in the Arctic, the easier it's going to be to navigate that area with ships. Now,
Okay, that makes sense. Why people who deny global warming, I feel like deep down they know, and I'm not talking about an average Joe, I'm talking about politicians, the elite, whatever. I feel like they know global warming exists, and we are directly responsible for it.
Well, I do think that global warming is a natural occurrence,
but
too.
at the speed it's happening is
exactly.
because of us.
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain these politicians, elite, whatever the hell you want to call them, people that control everything, they know that. And the ones that claim it's not real, they just want to benefit off of it, as you can see here.
Yeah.
Because if we took care of the planet more, it would not be melting this quickly. The Arctic. Sorry,
what this has meant is that a lot of countries are looking at the Arctic pathways as a potentially much better way to ship products rather than using the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal. And that is simply because this route is just shorter, so that means you can get there faster and it's going to cost you less money to ship your products. But of course, as these pathways are emerging, there's also a lot of claim over which of these waters are international waters and which of these are not. And that has potentially huge ramifications as far as who gets to ship from which pathway and how much do they have to pay in return. Now, there are two main pathways in the Arctic, the Northeast Pathway and the Northwest Pathway. As you can see, if you're taking the Northeast Pathway, you're going above countries like Russia, Norway, and Finland, whereas if you're taking the Northwest Passage, you're going above Alaska, Canada, and in between Canada and Greenland. So particularly...
And I mean, I'm sure that Trump knows it'd be easier to go above Canada.
Well, especially in... Correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am. Him trying to cut ties with like China and stuff, like maybe this is his solution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe. This is all like theorizing.
Yeah. Who the fuck are we to theorize, right? But yeah, I don't know. But my brain is like, okay, hypothetically, everything rolls out the way he wants it to. What if we get to a place where it's like, okay, the Arctic's getting a lot more cold again and we can't, like, these passages are blocked or like just not easy to access, then what are you gonna do?
I think
obliterate parts of the land to...
That wouldn't happen in our lifetime. I think it would take so long for that to occur again.
Yeah, and sometimes there are people who are against things like this, and then when they see the benefits of it, their morals change a little bit.
Yeah, I know, I get
they're
you.
like, well, is it the worst thing?
Well,
you know?
As we've seen here in the U.S. especially, and I know it's global, but money can make people change their stance on pretty much everything.
Well, yeah, that's just the universal thing about people, humans, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, wait, side note, if you're from Canada or you know more information, I didn't read too much into this, but Trudeau stepped down. I want to know why.
Yeah, let us know, because I really don't know about that either.
I just kind of heard it a couple times, and when I heard it, I wasn't in a place where I could like deep dive, but we'll probably will. I know a lot of people. We post this.
I know a lot of people don't like Trudeau in Canada.
Yeah, and a lot of people love him, so it can be either or. We don't. I don't know much about him.
Same.
West Passage, you have to make sure you come to some sort of an agreement with Canada and also with Denmark, which is the country that owns Greenland. Because again, some of these waters are considered internal waters, not international waters. As such, you have to have an agreement with the country that you're entering in order to pass through. Now, why this is so significant for someone like Trump is that if he can control this pathway, he would have a significant amount of leverage over China. Now, of course, the Chinese economy relies heavily on shipping products to foreign countries all across the world. But if in a hypothetical scenario, they were denied access to this pathway, but some of their main competitors like Vietnam or Bangladesh were allowed to use those pathways, then the Chinese products would have a very tough time remaining competitive because their shipping costs are just so much more than their competitors. So if Trump could get control of this pathway and use it in his negotiations with China, he would have a lot of leverage to ask for whatever he wants in return. And of course, an evidence to back up this claim is the fact that he is also focusing on regaining control of the Panama Canal, which is definitely illustrating that he is trying to use shipping routes in order to control the economy of the world. But I guess the real question is it actually feasible for Trump?
This is actually, like, I don't want to say genius, but like,
you're saying
I'm
this
actually impressed that this is a talking point for him. I think it's fucked up for Canada and Greenland, especially Greenland.
He's not talking about that's what he's trying to do. He's just saying like we need to take back this, or we need to add them to our country.
But the creator is saying, he's theorizing, like, okay,
he's theorizing, yes.
But that's a pretty good fucking theory.
No, it's smart. Yeah, it's very smart. And if this actually is the case, I do, in my honest opinion, I think that a strategist in the White House came up with this plan for Trump to do.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I would think.
Obviously, yeah.
But either way, yeah, I don't know.
I can't get past the part, like, going through the Arctic, and that could... You just never know what they're going to do over there.
Well, in that case, global warming is beneficial for them because...
That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Is they know it's real and it's working in their favor how much we're polluting this planet and fucking up this planet.
So they can create new routes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're like...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway.
Trump to get control of either Canada or Greenland, or maybe just this pathway. Now let's begin with what is probably the least feasible, and that is Canada becoming a 51st state. First of all, I should just mention that Canada is larger than all other 50 states combined, so this whole 51st state doesn't even make sense. It would have to be at least 10 additional states, but that's besides the point. But annexing Canada is extremely unfeasible. There would have to be so many things that would have to align together. There would have to be approval from the King of England because, yes, I know we are an independent country, but he is still our king. I don't know why, don't ask me that. And of course, as well as that, the parliament is just never going to go for annexing into US. I mean, let's just put it this way. I would be shocked if this actually happens. Yeah, but just because Trump says this and throws this out there doesn't mean that that's what he's actually looking for. In fact, there's a famous expression, aim for the stars so you can land on the moon. And that might be what Trump is trying to do here by proposing something outlandish.
My boy looks stressed. My boy would be looking stressed out.
Boy's aiming.
I know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Shoot for the stars, you land on the moon.
Something a little bit less outlandish actually looks like a reasonable idea. For example, this is what Kevin O'Leary had to say when he went on Fox News.
The concept of an economic union has been bandied around for 40 years. And it makes sense because the resources Canada have, the U.S. needs, particularly power and water. If you figured out a way to put these two countries together, it would be the most powerful country on earth, the most powerful military on earth, the most powerful resources. And no adversary anywhere would mess with.
Maybe we'll start saying sorry the way they do in Canada. Maybe we'll be a little nicer.
I know.
If we merge.
Yeah, we could use that, honestly.
Just kidding.
I don't know, man. I kind of lost respect for Kevin after like he just kind of showed his true colors recent, like in the past couple of years of just being like how he really. Remember when he was saying like he's against the unions. He's he's
a
trying
billionaire.
To. That's what I'm saying.
About anybody.
I just don't trust billionaires to ever have the interest of the American people, like the average people.
Yeah,
I just can't. I don't see it. I don't see. The only one I did see a little bit is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, because he started that pharmacy company that gets people affordable medication.
Yeah,
that's a great move. That's something that more billionaires should be doing.
How's that going?
Good.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard anything like updates about it. Like, are people using it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great.
Would mess with it. The opportunity is combining strengths. You don't have to sell the country, you don't have to even merge it, but you can create a union where you put together the things that matter: a common currency, a common passport, free-flowing trade across the border, particularly in energy.
So what Mr. Wonderful is proposing here is that instead of annexing Canada, we could form a union similar to, let's say, the UK. Now the UK, if you are not aware, is basically a union of 4 countries. Those 4, of course, are England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So the UK is actually not just one country. It's 4 separate countries. It's just that they formed a unity and they have a central government that deals with stuff like foreign policy, monetary policy, or security. Whereas for stuff like domestic laws and regulations, those are handled by each country for their own people. And what Mr. Wonderful is proposing is something similar, where we have a unified passport just like the British, and we also have a central government that controls stuff like foreign policy, monetary policy, and military. But in this example, Canada and the United States would remain 2 separate countries. It's just that they would form a union, again, similar to the UK or even the European Union. Now, this idea is more feasible than annexing Canada into the United States, but there's a lot of negotiations that would have to go into this. So is it feasible?
It's not happening.
Yes, it's feasible.
The thing is that there would probably be a lot of fighting back and forth with corporatizing a lot more of the government, like how it is here, over there.
I would not. I mean, I feel like they have their own corporate issues over there too. Maybe
yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is like healthcare, education, other things like that.
Right,
yeah.
and that's. But I don't know if that would matter.
Maybe
they're just unionizing or uniting when it's
military or other things. Yeah.
When it comes to defending ourselves or
that would be
or like business things. I don't think when it comes to
social things.
Yeah, but it would be cool to go to Canada for healthcare. That would be cool.
That would
as
be,
a selfish American. I mean, if they can do that,
I don't know.
Shit.
I hear a lot of the people like, because I have a Canadian in my family. I do. He's married to my sister, and he's the coolest person that one of the coolest persons I've ever met. But the
coolest persons.
Like his family has some things serious with health, and they say that the Canadian system sucks because they've had to wait so long to take care of it, and it's just other. So I hear that a lot, but then online I see people saying like, "Oh, it saved my life," and it's the best thing ever.
I think it depends your situation. Obviously, if you're just going because you have like a flu, that's
obviously
probably
I'm
like,
sure it's
cool.
fine. Yeah. But if you have like a serious health issue,
that you need like a kidney transplant or something, I'm sure it's hell.
But I was talking to him and I was like,
honestly,
don't you guys have an option for private care? And he's like, oh, no, there's no option for private care. And I'm like, why don't they have that? They should have that. Like other countries like Spain and Germany and Switzerland, they have the option for private too, so you can speed things up, which it's not even that much expensive.
I didn't know Canada doesn't have that.
Yeah, I was like, why? That's weird that you guys don't have that. But that would be, I feel like, a good balance for that. But yeah.
Is it likely? Probably not. And that leaves us with the most feasible option, which is that Trump wants to leverage Canada with the threat of tariffs in order to be able to influence Canada's decision-making regarding the Northwest Passage. This is probably the most likely scenario of what's actually happening here. Of course, there's been a lot of disputes over Canada's tariffs and what that could do to the Canadian economy. And again, if you look at Trump as a negotiator, this is clearly Trump trying to find the leverage in order to influence Canada's decision-making. So that through threatening Canada with tariffs, he can gain the ability to threaten China with access to trade routes. But you might ask, what about Greenland? Is that one actually feasible? Well, to put it simply, it is much more feasible than Canada simply for the fact that you're not absorbing an entire country. Rather, you're just absorbing a territory that doesn't have exactly the highest population out there. Now, I would argue that purchasing Greenland is actually much more important than trying to annex Canada in some way or another, because the US has an extensive trade network with Canada and is therefore able to influence its decision making. But the American influence over the Kingdom of Denmark is at least nowhere near as it is on Canada. So if you want to influence their decision making as far as the trade routes surrounding Greenland, you don't really have the ability to do that, at least nowhere near with something like Canada. Now, of course, the Danish authorities have said that Greenland is not for sale, but truly in this world, everything has a price. You just have to meet that price. For example, and of course this is an extreme example, but if the US was willing to, let's say, pay 10 times what Greenland is actually worth, Would Denmark really say no to that? Now, do they have that kind of money? Probably not. They're massive debt. But clearly everything is for sale. You just have to find the right solution. So is the acquisition of Greenland actually feasible? Definitely more than Canada, but I still wouldn't put my money on it. Now that's about it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think is the most feasible outcome for Canada and Greenland? If you enjoyed this video, then do me a favor and smash the like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, then smash the subscribe button down below as well. But with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
I mean, yeah, I think the most realistic outcome would be like the union type thing.
I don't even think it's gonna happen. Let's be real. I don't think anything is gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna. I think he just likes to talk, and that's basically it. Until he gets bored of the topic, and then he moves on to something else. Because he does that a lot.
What's funny too is, I feel like a lot of people voted for him for like the anti-woke agenda and all that stuff, and I don't feel like he's gonna do anything about that.
That's not a priority, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of people voted for him because of that.
Right. A lot of people voted for him the first time, too, for reasons that later they didn't care. It's just about getting an office. That's it. And maintaining some form of power. And he will say whatever the fuck he wants to say to make it seem like he's progressing this country.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, any of it's gonna happen.
This theory that he has about the passages,
makes sense.
It's a really smart theory.
Oh,
it makes sense.
YouTube Premium?
Yeah, I've had that.
Oh.
It's so we don't have to have ads while we're doing this.
I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, I just realized. Yeah, we don't ever see ads.
All right. Well, this was actually an interesting video.
Shut up. This person goes, not everything is for sale or has a price. Some people actually have integrity, believe it or not. Guess what? Those people in Greenland aren't the ones making the decision. It's the government. And they do have a price, I believe.
Yeah. I don't know. All right.
Anyway.
This guy did a good job theorizing this and putting it out. So you should give him a follow. And also you should give our vlog channel a follow.
For Max.
Yeah.
Because Max had to go to the vet recently because he wasn't feeling well when we picked him up from the dog sitter. And he has been farting nonstop.
I know. His stomach has been having issues.
It's okay. I still love you. Still love you. Don't worry.
All right. We'll see you on the next one, guys.
Go follow our vlog channel. The link is in the description.
Peace.
And go subscribe. Subscribe. What the hell is that?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.